My true buds, cannabis enthusiast, we ain't new to this. Does the color of your infusion matter? Does it mean it's more potent? What is going on here? A common question I've gotten on this channel a fair amount, so figured let's address it right now. The color doesn't mean it's gonna be more potent. So let's just make an example here. Say you buy like some sativa flower that's a very light hue, like that light green, and then you go buy an indica flower, even like a purpley indica that's really dark. You take the sativa, you take that indica, you infuse them in the same amount of butter with the same process. Guess which one's gonna be darker, guys? The more purpley indica one. Guess which one's gonna be lighter? The nice sativa. And guess what? That doesn't mean one is necessarily stronger than the other. The sativa could have more cannabinoids in it than the indica. So they could both hit really hard. The color doesn't always determine everything. And it also matters other sources. Like if you're infusing a live resin, it's gonna be a very clean looking butter or coconut oil or MCT oil, whatever you're infusing. Now, if you're using a lot of trim and shake, like I've done in the past, like ounces of trim and shake butter infusions, your butter is gonna come out dark. That's because that trim and shake and those extra pieces are gonna be darker, just inherently so, than your fresh, lighter hued bud. So it really comes down to that input source that determines it. So don't get fooled sometimes if you see a really green infusion that you've done or like almost darker brown. That doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna be stronger than one you've done in the past that's lighter. Now, this could be important for you more so probably than me in some cases. I don't necessarily care that much about how the color looks, but if you're like if you like to bake or something and you're doing like a sugar cookie, let's say, right? And you have a really dark butter and you put it in the sugar cookie, it's gonna look like some green eggs and ham type shit, right? Might be a little off-putting. Now, if you have an infusion that's like a live resin infusion or just that lighter color hue, and you put that in a sugar cookie, that's gonna work together well. So there are circumstances where it might matter more so for you. I don't personally do a lot of baked goods. I'm more of like a tincture guy and put it in my drinks and sometimes savory foods, but that could be another reason too. And shout out to the people that ask these questions. I'm just trying to get better about responding to questions, responding to comments. And this one has popped up a fair amount of times, like I said, and just wanted to break that down. And I guess one last thing I'll throw in maybe where the color could really tell you something is if you made a batch using the same exact method with the same exact quantity, and then they came out looking different. Like if I used an ounce of, let's say, Granddaddy Perp and did an infusion, and then I did the same infusion later and it was lighter in color or darker, then I would start to ask myself, did I infuse it for longer? Did I decarb it longer? Because that decarboxylation process can also add a darker hue. And that's something I should note too. And there I wasn't even planning on throwing. Decarbing does kind of brown those buds up a little bit, add that brown hue to it. So that will also make the infusion a little darker. You don't need to decarb. I do it probably 95% of the time. But if you did want to go for a lighter infusion too, you could do the process without decarbing. You will lose some of the total like THC potency there, but there's a chance you can pick up some more terpenes and things like that, guys. My cannabis enthusiasts, I hope this video found you well. And if you're vibing with it, please share it with a friend or this channel, or share our Mason Pot YouTube channel. We got the infuser that we're freaking killing it with. Also, the True Bud Show podcast, been popping up some more podcasts there. So we're all about spreading the love, educating, kicking it, and getting medicated, my friends. I'll see you on the next one.